Today we have Professor Jakob from the Mannheim University Hospital, Sarcoma Center Mannheim, with us, and we have the opportunity to talk to him in detail about a specific operation on a liposarcoma in a right thigh. And this is really exciting because it shows how detailed everything has to be planned, but on the other hand, what possibilities there are. When operating, how do you operate to ensure that on one hand, you have this clear margin so that the whole tumor is indeed removed, but on the other hand, you remove as few things as possible that the person needs? How can you make this decision, or based on what criteria do you decide how extensive the operation needs to be?
Yes. Well, a lot is determined by the tumor itself, such as where the tumor is located and which organs and structures it has affected. This determines how we have to operate. And a second part is a lot of planning. That is to say, you take a very, very close look at the MRI or CT images and then have to consider, where are the critical points of the operation? So, which structures do I need to preserve? Which structures am I allowed to damage? And which structures might I need to damage in order to protect very critical ones? It's one question. You can't just paint by numbers in such a body properly. Because you can't always, even though you know from the textbook and from experience with images what the next structure should be, but people are always a little bit different. And especially if a relatively large tumor might still be present, then the structures are somewhat displaced and it can be very challenging.
Can you clarify that? Structures like...
So important, for example, when we took out an image. These are small cuts of an MRI. When you look at it, we call this a coronary section. It's like cutting a body in that plane. That's a coronary section. In the images, you can see both thighs with the groins, and when you look through the images, you see in the right thigh, on this side, is right. Here, a bright structure that you don't see on the other side. It stands to reason that for a leg, which should look the same on both sides, that shouldn't be there. That's why it's what visually stands out in the images.
Yes, of course.
You have a pattern, and then you have to check what actually doesn't fit there. And it's like this. When I see this image, you can assign this tumor, the so-called, let's call them adductors, but on a boundary where they are next to it. You have to look at it closely. The adductors.
The muscles that bring the legs together?
Right, that is where the soccer players have the strain.
Yes, okay.
But a large part of the tumor, when you see it here, that's just the interface there, is in the so-called quadriceps muscle. That's the one that extends the knee.
Oh, yes.
And this is a very, very important muscle. You can see here, this triangle is actually the adductors. And you can see here that this tumor actually starts right next to the femur. And it's quite clear in this case it's also a structure where the quadriceps almost wraps around the femur.
Mm-hmm.
So these two compartments, if you want to put it that way, one that extends the knee and the other that pulls the knees together, the tumor is at least adjacent to them. I don't have all the scans right now, so I can't detail every anatomical aspect.
Exactly. I got the photo from a photo platform on the internet, so accordingly...
Completely fine.
Yes, exactly, but we only have this here.
Right. We only have this now. That's why I can now say, whether the expansion is still going completely into one compartment or the other, I don't know for sure. But I know that both are affected. If I now know that both are affected, then I also know that this cannot be shown exactly in these images because it is not a good contrast agent phase of the vessels, that between the two compartments, for example, which also goes downwards, the artery and the vein for everything in the area of the lower leg and foot, at least. And that means here one would assume, if one were to operate, how would one make a plan? So I imagine this is in part of the adductors. This is in the quadriceps. Then one would say, what are the most critical structures I have here? Then these are very likely the vessels that supply the lower leg and foot. First, Secondly, I would say it is very likely important for the patient to straighten their knee because without knee straightening, walking, climbing stairs, moving, driving, that's the right leg, so to speak. On the left side, one might still manage with aids. There are many things that are very difficult. So I have to consider, what is this muscle function knee extension? I would say, how much do I damage it? This naturally includes not just the muscle, but also the nerve that radiates into it. Now, I know that at this point it is the femoral nerve, which also comes from above and branches into this quadriceps muscle, and even if I had to remove a part of it now, I can rely on most patients to achieve normal mobility with the other parts. Even though perhaps not the same strength, not the same maximum strength. They will not play football in the same way, but they will be able to climb stairs, drive cars, walk, move around in daily life, and also be able to play sports acceptably. So those are things I consider. When I see a tumor like that, I see that it is next to the thigh bone, the femur here. And then I would say, wow, is this a tumor that we need to irradiate, for example? And then I think about that point, where we were earlier on the topic, it's about radiation. At that point, I would think, what is actually the dose of radiation, for example, on this bone? And there I need to consider, gosh, if I irradiate preoperatively and take 50 gray, it's a lower dose over a long length on this tubular bone if I do it preoperatively. Or if I have to do it postoperatively, it's 66 gray, also over a long length of a tubular bone. I would need to closely look. Do I need to irradiate the entire circumference of the bone here? Because in rare cases, this can increase the risk of fracture. So if I have someone who has osteoporosis, another metabolic bone disorder, or something similar who is older, we are already back in the area of what is the consideration of multimodal therapy, just because of the location, due to the path to the femur. But this is how you go about it and make a plan. How do I actually approach this? Up to the access path where you naturally say, of course, you can't go straight through here and theoretically open up the entire quadricep and cut the adductors, but rather you will open it longitudinally. Then you will probably approach from the top. You will push the vessels towards the middle when you see the images now. That means you will expose the vessels. Then you see them more or less in this form. You don't injure them, but you have to sort of separate them from the tissue. Then you'll encounter the adductors here, taking part of that, so to speak, and on the other side you'll operate into the quadriceps down to the bone, and then the planes will meet. You need to know again below. Now we come to how does the patient get out? Now you need to know. At this point, for example, this vessel branches off, superficial artery, deep artery, and you will find vessels again at this point where the adductors and the quadriceps meet, and you have to be careful not to cause any bleeding down there. These are the kinds of thoughts you have when planning such an operation.
Thank you very much. This is really extremely illustrative, and above all, yes, how complex it all is. But what really honestly reassures me is that even though it is so complex, one always finds a way to make things possible. So really, thank you very, very much for this very, very clear explanation of this specific case that we have brought here.